This video will help us to review the preposition, prepositional phrase, object and preposition unit that we've been studying in language arts. So as you can see, we started off the unit learning about prepositions and what their job is in a sentence. And looking at the first concept, prepositions show, as you can see, their basic function in a sentence is to show relationships between a noun or a pronoun to another word in the sentence. So we'll type in relationships there for that blank. That's basically their job, to connect those words together in a sentence. And we know so far prepositional phrases must be at least two words or more in a sentence. So they definitely need to have at least two words to be a phrase. And then we've been studying the prepositional phrase formula to help us know this unit a little bit better and to locate prepositional phrases in sentences. And all prepositional phrases have to begin with a preposition. And then plus in the middle, we often see words called articles in there. And those would be words like a, and, or the. Right in the middle, that's there quite a bit in a prepositional phrase, the article. We studied in class probably 85 to 90% of the time we'll see an article, a, and, or the in the middle. And then also in the middle could be an adjective, and that's why that's in parentheses again, because it doesn't have to be in there, but it can be, followed by another set of parentheses for the formula, which would be possessives, possessive nouns or possessive pronouns. And then every prepositional phrase must end with the noun or pronoun to close out the phrase. So that's what we'll add at the end of our formula. We need to have that noun or pronoun for sure to have a prepositional phrase. So the formula, again, we have to have the preposition for sure, as well as the noun or the pronoun at the end of it. And then in the middle of that, we can have articles, a, and, or the, an adjective or adjectives or possessives in the middle. Okay, and prepositional phrases are used in our writing to add description to our writing, and they often tell where or when. We've studied that pretty extensively during the unit as well, that prepositional phrases will often tell where or when in a sentence. Okay, and then prepositional phrases can be in the three parts of a sentence basically, or in a thought. They can be in the beginning, the middle, or the end of a sentence as well. So all three parts, they can really come anywhere in a sentence then in our writing or in language. Okay, and then the last concept is the object of a preposition is the, as we saw in the formula, the noun or pronoun that ends the prepositional phrase, and it's pretty much the last word of that phrase as well. I'm going to add that on to the study guide on the review on the video. If you want to add this onto your study guide, you can. Will be the last word of the prepositional phrase. Okay, so those concepts should help us to understand particularly the prepositional phrase formula, to understand prepositions a little better and to find them in sentences. So we'll move on to the second part of the review, which was underlining the prepositional phrase in each sentence below. So taking a look at number one, my friend stopped at the park. The prepositional phrase would have been at the park, telling where in the sentence there, telling where my friend and I stopped. Okay, number two, we ate lunch on the grass. On the grass, again, would be the prepositional phrase in number two, again telling where we ate the lunch. And both of those followed the formula very nicely as well. We see at preposition, the article, park noun, on preposition, the article, grass noun. Okay, number three, the friends sat together beside a tall maple tree. Beside a tall maple tree would be the prepositional phrase for number three. This time we do have some adjectives in the middle. Besides the preposition, a is the article, tall and maple, both adjectives, trees the noun. Number 4, cyclists rode by us. By us would be the prepositional phrase this time, with by being the preposition. Us is the pronoun that time to end the phrase. Number 5, after a race, the runner's heart beat rapidly. We have after a race as the prepositional phrase right at the beginning of the sentence. And during the unit, don't forget we studied that comma rule. Introductory clauses, pretty much 90 to 95% of the time, are going to be a prepositional phrase. Okay, number 6, our organs are important parts of the body. Of the body would be the prepositional phrase for number 6. Number 7, in the morning the class read books. Again, in the morning would be the prepositional phrase there, telling when, and it is an introductory clause, introductory phrase at the beginning. Again, that comma rule helps us. Number 8, the deer jumped over the logs. Over the logs would be the prepositional phrase, telling where for 8. 9, we played outdoors during the long summer months. During the long summer months, all of that would be the prepositional phrase there. We have a couple adjectives in the middle again, this one telling when as well. And number 10, a baseball player had a colorful symbol on his uniform. So on his uniform would be the prepositional phrase for number 10. We have the preposition on. His is the possessive this time, possessive pronoun, uniform the noun. So most of these ended the sentences, as we can see. We did have a couple at the beginning of a sentence. Remember, they can be in the middle as well. Okay, and we'll go on to the final part of the review now, looking at prepositional phrases and objects of prepositions. So number 1, the girls passed softball by us. Okay, by us would be the prepositional phrase, and the object of the preposition is us this time, being the pronoun that ends the prepositional phrase for number 1. Number 2, a ball rolled under the fence. Okay, for this one, we have under the fence as the prepositional phrase, telling where the ball rolled that time, and fence would be the object of the preposition for number 2, ending the phrase again. Number 3, one team in the large infield wore red uniforms. That time it would be in the large infield, right in the middle of the sentence, prepositional phrase, and infield would be the object of the preposition. Okay, number 4, in her locker, the student located an important project. For number 4, in her locker would be the prepositional phrase, and locker would be the object of the preposition. Number 5, children stood proudly between their parents. Between their parents would be the prepositional phrase for 5, and parents would be the object of the preposition. Number 6, the friends went to the fancy restaurant together. For 6, it would be to the restaurant, right in the middle again. We wouldn't include together as a part of that phrase, just to the fancy restaurant. And restaurant would be the object of the preposition to end that phrase again. Notice how we don't include the adjectives, the possessives, or the articles with the object of the preposition. It's just going to always be that noun or pronoun, typically the last word of the prepositional phrase. And then 7, during the evening, the families read several books, or read several books it could be. During the evening would be the prepositional phrase, and evening would be the object of the preposition. And hopefully this review will help all of you to understand prepositions, their role in a sentence, how to locate prepositional phrases and objects of prepositions as we close out this unit.